Hi guys, it's Charlotte and welcome back to another video all about Squarespace SEO. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the most important on-site factors for Squarespace SEO. So this is a really wonderful video to go along with the video that I did recently that's called like Squarespace 101, like the most important or like the basic steps to do. I'm gonna link to that one up above. So if you haven't already, check that post or that video out and then come back and join us here for this video where we're talking all about on-site factors for Squarespace SEO, because this is really juicy. Like, really, if you think about on-site factors for Squarespace SEO, these are some of the things that you can do that you have a lot of control over. And it's something that you can do on all different aspects of your website. So it doesn't matter whether your website is for, a personal site, for your business, your brand, if you're a blogger, whatever it is, all of these on-site factors are going to apply and they're going to help you to improve your SEO. And this is really important because if we think about it, an optimized website is going to have a direct impact on how well you're able to grow. And as you're able to grow your website more, reach more people online, get like higher website traffic, connect more with your ideal clients and customers, this is going to have a direct impact on your business's bottom line and how much you're able to convert and how much money you're able to bring in, product sales, products, services booked, all that sort of thing. So there's a really big connection with like why we're doing these on-site factors for SEO and how that's actually going to affect our business, okay? So when it comes to on-site SEO factors, which I'm going to go through all of them, like list them out in a few minutes, the first thing that you need to understand and consider is something called search intent, right? So if we think about it, one of the really big things that's going to make or break your success when it comes to Squarespace SEO is how well you're creating website content for your ideal client or customer, right? So if you think about how this kind of works, like there's a human, a real live person is going to Google and they're typing something in, right? They have some sort of question or something that they're looking for and they want an answer to that. So when they're typing something into Google, like odds are that there's an intention behind that. And it can usually mean one of four things when it comes to search intent. So the first thing is they're just looking for something kind of like navigational, right? Like they're looking to kind of like figure out where they're going with their online search, right? The second thing that they might be looking for is informational. And this is pretty simple. It's like you have a question, you just want an answer. You're like, what's the answer to this? Or like, how do I find that? Like, whatever. Cool. So informational is the second one. The third type would be investigational. So it might be like, compare two different products or something, right? You want to be like, I'm researching, I'm investigating, I'm curious about something. That's going to be a very different type of content than someone who's just like looking for the answer to a question, right? And then another type, the fourth type of search intent is going to be transactional. And transactional is really important because let's say someone types like buy black waterproof hiking boots. I don't know, whatever. That when you think about a search like that, there's definitely an intention to purchase a product afterwards, right? So if you're thinking about how you're actually creating the content for your website, then you need to keep in mind like the type of search someone might be doing and the keywords that they're typing into a search engine like Google in order to find those results. Okay. So then once you have the search intent in mind, then we can actually start applying these on-site SEO factors that we're going to go through in just a second. So the great thing is that all of these points that we cover, you can use these on-site SEO factors for pretty much all page types that you have on your Squarespace website. So that could be like a basic web page that you have, whether it's like a normal page, an index page, whatever. It can be for a blog post. It can be for a product page. It can be for a gallery page, an event page, anything like that. Like the same principles apply across the entire bit of your website. So that's a really important thing to keep in mind. Okay, so now let's dive into the actual like on-site SEO factors since I've given you a few things to consider here. So the very first thing that I want to talk to you about is titles. Okay, so whether you're talking about a page title, a blog post title, product item title, like the title that you have is really important because when Google crawls and indexes the content of your website, that's one of the first tags that they're going to be looking at there. And when they see the title, like the title should be really unique to the page, unique to the content, and just very straightforward and like, someone should be able to see the page title or the blog post title and know what they're about to read, right? Because again, if you think about like how you can use this to help you with SEO factors, you want to be as like clear and descriptive and including the main keywords as you can, in order to like get the best results from that aspect. The next thing that we're going to focus on for an on-site SEO factor is the URL structure. Okay. So you will have seen that, like, depending on if you're using like a page, a blog post, product, whatever, you're going to be able to create like the URL structure that goes along with that page on your website. And with the URL structure, you know, there's various like best practices to keep in mind. And if you go through and like read the blog post that is associated with this video tutorial, you can go through some of those a bit more in depth. But basically, you want to use the URL structure in a way that like you're using like spaces, lowercase writing, or lowercase characters, sorry. You know, you want to include the keywords that you have, try to avoid like random numbers and stuff. So, you know, like it can be something really simple, like your URL structure could just be like, you know, charlotteohara.ca/about, right? Like you wouldn't want to like cram something random in there. It should be just like simple and descriptive there. Another on-site factor that we have is headers. And headers, you know, you usually think of the three main ones, H1, H2, and H3. And when Google is crawling and indexing the content of your website, they're looking at the headers that you use and evaluating on the hierarchy that you're using them, right? Because H1 is going to be more important than an H2 or an H3. And, you know, you generally want to use H1 only one time on the page. And this is something that people often like mistaken if they're using it more from like a styling elements. But you want to think about the headers that you're using on the page and this, like how the hierarchy plays out for search engines that are going to be reviewing the content. And headers are also really important too, because like not only are they useful for Google for indicating like what a specific section of, you know, web page content is about, but also it's going to be really helpful for site visitors who are checking out the content of your website, right? Because a lot of people are just going to like straight up, we know that a lot of people just scan the content of a page, and if they can go through and see the headers for the specific sections that they're like particularly interested in, then that's going to be really helpful for them and improve the user experience that you have. Okay, another on-site factor that is very important too would be images. Okay, so it doesn't matter what type of web page you have, odds are you're probably going to be including some sort of image on it. And there's lots of best practices when it comes to images. So I've actually, in the blog post down below, like or the blog post that this video is associated with, you know what I'm trying to say. I've linked to, you can see like a guide that talks all about like the best practices for images. But basically some of the things that I really want you to keep in mind are, first of all, that you're using relevant images, that you're file formatting and sizing it correctly. So maybe that means you have to compress the image so that it doesn't slow down the page load speed. You want to correctly name the image too, making sure that you're including keywords associated with the image, because then that way you can help the page rank higher itself, but also the image can show up in Google image search results, which can be really helpful for, you know, improving SEO overall. So images, there's lots of different things to consider here. So take a look at the blog post below that has a lot more info. And another thing too is the links that you have on your website. So I'm going to link up here in the cards on the YouTube video to a video that I did all about the 3 different type of links and their impact on SEO. But to go over them really quickly, the 3 types of links are inbound links, which is when another website links to your website. Then there's internal links, which is when you link to another section of your own website. And then the third type is external links, which is when you link from your website to another website. Okay. And links are going to be really important because when search engines are crawling and indexing your content, you can help them to kind of like figure out where you want to create relationships between content, whether it's between content that exists on your own website or between content from your website and other ones, and search engines, they really prioritize the type of links that are coming, especially inbound links. So if another website is linking back to yours, that's going to be really helpful in Google's eyes to be like, okay, this particular website is legit, it's trustworthy, like obviously there's some important or high quality content because it's being linked to from another way. And then also from a user experience point of view, linking is really helpful here too, right? Because let's say someone lands on a blog post of yours because it came up in like a Google search result, and then they click through to the blog post, which takes them to your website. In that case, they wouldn't have seen, your homepage or anything else. So you want to include links within that blog post, whether it's through like, a text link, related content down at the bottom, like just a mention of something within the blog post content or whatever, to make sure that people can really access and orient through the different aspects of your website in a really useful and natural way. So links are definitely very important, both from search engines, like the technical point of view, but also from a user experience point of view. Okay, and then the last thing that I want to let you know about with unique content here, or about on-site factors for Squarespace SEO, is to just really emphasize the point that the best kind of website content you can have is going to be unique content. So this means like writing and creating content for your website in a way that really speaks to your ideal audience, making sure that it's unique to your website. So you're not just like copy and pasting it from maybe like a guest post that you did, or like an interview or some other type of online feature that you received, right? Because remember, Google is going to be crawling and indexing like all website content, whether it's your website, any other ones. And when they see that you have unique content focused around certain niches or like, groups of keywords, all those sorts of things, it's going to help create much stronger content in your website overall, which means that you can have a much higher opportunity to rank in search results for the things that you're going after. And then again, too, once you start ranking higher overall, then like this is going to lead to more website traffic, more business opportunities, wider reach online, more authority, like all these sorts of things that kind of come through with SEO efforts. So last thing that I want to mention here is that I'm going to link down below to my Squarespace SEO checklist. And if you're watching this video, you're probably interested in Squarespace SEO. So I wouldn't be mentioning it if I didn't genuinely think it would be helpful for you. So take a look at the Squarespace SEO checklist that I've included. I've also got lots more content here on my YouTube channel or over on my website, all about Squarespace, SEO, website design and development, growing your website, all these sorts of things. So take a look around it. I'm sure you'll find lots more useful content to help you as you work through on your Squarespace SEO journey. If you like this video, please be sure to like it, leave me a comment. You can even subscribe to my channel. I've got lots more videos coming at you soon. And that's it. I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed learning more about on-site factors for Squarespace SEO. And let me know how it goes as you start implementing these on your own website, whether it's for brand new content that you have, or if you apply these principles to existing content that you've already done and you're just going through and updating it and improving it. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.